somewhere in the darkness between worlds. Not fast, not sudden, but inevitable, and it has set its course for us. In the grand theater of our solar system, the planets orbit the sun in a delicate, almost choreographed silence. Billions of years of gravitational negotiation have placed each world exactly where it belongs: Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars. And then, the gap, the asteroid belt, a graveyard of rock and ice, and beyond it, Jupiter, the giant, the tyrant, the protector, a world so massive it contains more than twice the mass of every other planet in the solar system, combined. But tonight, we ask the forbidden question: what if the distance between us simply ceased to exist? What if Earth, your Earth, were set on a collision course with Jupiter? Let us begin. It starts with a whisper in the sky. Months before impact, astronomers notice something wrong. Jupiter, that familiar pale dot in the night sky, is growing. Slowly at first, barely measurable. But the equations don't lie. Something has disturbed the orbital mechanics of the solar system. Perhaps a rogue star passed too close, millions of years ago, bending gravity like a thumb pressing into wet clay. Perhaps a chain reaction in the outer solar system nudged Jupiter ever so slightly inward. It doesn't matter why it's coming. What matters is, it is. Within weeks, Jupiter becomes visible to the naked eye as more than just a dot. It becomes a disk, then a presence, then a terror. Tides on Earth begin to behave strangely. The oceans, sensitive instruments of gravity's will, start shifting. High tides climb higher, low tides pull farther back. Coastal cities flood. Scientists warn of worse to come. But this is only gravity waving hello. Jupiter doesn't need to touch the Earth to begin killing it. Long before any physical contact, Jupiter's gravitational field, an invisible fist of pure force, reaches across space and begins pulling Earth apart. The geological term for this is tidal stress. But there is nothing gentle about what happens next. The ground itself begins to breathe. Earthquakes shatter every continent simultaneously, not along fault lines, everywhere. The crust of the Earth, that thin, fragile shell we've built every civilization upon, buckles and heaves like the skin of a living thing trying to escape. Supervolcanoes that have slept for millions of years rupture at once. Yellowstone, Toba, Campiflagre, they open like wounds. The atmosphere, too, begins to flee. The lighter gases, hydrogen, helium, stripped away by Jupiter's overwhelming magnetic field, which is 14 times stronger than Earth's and extends millions of kilometers into space. The sky begins to thin, and still, Jupiter grows larger. It now fills a quarter of the sky, then half. A swirling banded wall of amber and cream and rust, scarred by a storm the size of a continent, the Great Red Spot, rotating slowly, indifferently, like the eye of a god that does not notice us. There is a number, a precise, terrifying number. It is called the Roche Limit. Named for the French astronomer Édouard Roche, who calculated it in 1848, it marks the distance at which a smaller body, held together only by its own gravity, will be torn apart by the tidal forces of a larger one. For Earth approaching Jupiter, that distance is approximately 53,000 kilometers from Jupiter's center. That is closer than some of Jupiter's own moons orbit. And when the Earth crosses that threshold, it does not collide with Jupiter, it dissolves. The planet does not strike, it unravels. Rock and magma and ocean and atmosphere, everything that ever was the Earth, peels away in long, spiraling ribbons. The core, dense and iron-heavy, may hold together slightly longer, but even it will succumb. The oceans do not crash into Jupiter, they stream into it, a river of water 10,000 kilometers long, glittering in the light of a sun now rapidly shrinking behind us. In a matter of hours, a planet 4.5 billion years old, the cradle of all known life in the universe, becomes... And Jupiter? Jupiter barely notices. The entire mass of Earth, all 6 septillion kilograms of it, adds roughly 0.0003% to Jupiter's total mass. If you added a single grain of sand to a beach stretching from New York to Los Angeles, the beach would barely notice either. Jupiter continues its orbit. The Great Red Spot continues to spin. The four great Galilean moons, Io, Europa, Ganymede, Callisto, adjust their orbits by fractions of a millimeter and carry on. The solar system reorganizes itself. Mars, now with no neighbor to help stabilize its orbit, drifts slightly. The asteroid belt grows chaotic. Some rocks will fall inward toward the sun. Some will be flung outward into interstellar space. But nothing will mark the grave of Earth. No crater, no monument, no trace. Only a very slight, imperceptible increase in the banding of Jupiter's upper atmosphere, where the iron and silicates and water of a lost world slowly sink into clouds that are already older than human memory. Here is the cruelest irony. For most of Earth's history, Jupiter was our protector. Its enormous gravity acted as a cosmic shield, intercepting asteroids and comets that might otherwise have sterilized our world. Scientists believe that without Jupiter, the rate of catastrophic impacts on Earth would be thousands of times higher. Life, as we know it, may never have evolved at all. Jupiter gave us time. Time for single cells to become complex, for fish to crawl onto land, for mammals to emerge from the shadow of dinosaurs, for one particular ape to look up at the night sky and begin to wonder. And in this story, in this impossible, unthinkable story, Jupiter is also the reason you end. There is a word for this. The ancient Greeks would have recognized it. Hubris. The fall that comes from the thing you trusted most. The universe does not hate us, and perhaps it cares for us in ways beyond our understanding. And maybe that is exactly what makes it so beautiful. Amid endless darkness and collapsing worlds, a small blue planet once existed, and for one fleeting moment in eternity, it learned to look up at the stars in wonder.